All right, with any luck, it looks like we are streaming live. Welcome back to Cultivating Connections. I'm Amanda Brosana Rios, the Communications Director for National Grange, and tonight I get to turn our program over to the National Grange lecturer, Chris Hamp, who will be talking to us about the 2021 programs and contests under her department purview and some other information. So let's make sure that everything's working here. Hi, Chris.
Hello, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. There's no storm beating down on us here in the West, so we're all in good shape.
Well, you're lucky because it is certainly coming down here in Pennsylvania. So hopefully we have no problems with the internet, but it should go well. So I wanted to first say to you that it looks like our IT director, Stephanie Wilkins, has been hard at work getting some stuff up. And you had some amazing winners from contests this year, which we haven't gotten to talk a lot about because, of course, we didn't have convention in the normal sense to present those winners and things like that. So I was just hoping that you might take a minute and recognize just how many entries you got in and the level of quality of entries that I thought you really had an amazing spectrum this year.
We did. We had a great turnout of folks to participate in our contests. And before I get down that path, first of all, I just want to welcome everybody that's out there tonight that's joining us to hear about not only the 2021 contests and programs like Amanda just said, but also kind of a quick check in the rear view and an opportunity to name some names and call out some winners from folks that took the time to enter and to do great things with their local Granges and their communities. So that's what tonight's all about. And again, hello everybody, and thanks for joining us. One of the things that I wanted to bring up first was you will see the contests and programs within the lectures department continue to change. We're constantly taking a look at those and seeing if they're still meeting what we want them to do, if they're meeting the needs of our members and our communities. And as that ebbs and flows and those things change, you're going to see those contests change as well. So it's always important to make sure that when you're entering a contest, all of the documents from the lectures department are dated. So you will see 2021 on every contest form and information page for 2021. And if it says 2020 or 2019, then it's time to put that in the recycle bin and move on to 2021, because the contest may be different, the categories may be different. We may have gotten rid of it altogether, and just to make sure we're all working from the same script, make sure that all of your documents say 2021. And as you said, Amanda, Stephanie Wilkins, our IT director, has gone above and beyond in helping me over the last couple of weeks make sure that everything from 2020, as far as the winners, are posted on the website. And we're going to show you how to get there tonight and to see those as we recognize them. And then also to make sure that all of our documents for 2021 are there as well. So every person in the country has access to that website. It's on the front end of it, not the membership end. So you can get in without having to have a login or a special password or anything like that. And you can download those documents. They're all PDFs where you can save them, reprint them, email them, post them in your newsletters, however you want to use them and get them out to your membership. They're there for the taking and for the using. And I hope that that's, after tonight, everybody will be comfortable in how to go about doing that.
So I know that we're going to move to the website. So I'm going to pop that open now. For any of you who are looking at the screen share, you can follow along on your own computer by going to nationalgrange.org. And Chris is going to give us the voiceover as we go through this. So take it away.
All right. So here is when you type in National Grange, in your search browser, you're going to get the nationalgrange.org website, and this is the home page. And this picture rotates, so it may not always be that photo at the top, but it's going to be look like this. And right there at the top, in the blue bar, it says programs, and you want to hover on programs, and then you want to click on that first one called lectures programming. So that's as deep as you're going to have to go in this website, is that front page to programs to lectures programming. And then, as you can see there on the left side, is the list of all the items where we are providing you with information and documents, and not only the winners from 2020, but the documents for 2021. And we're going to start tonight, Amanda, with the quarter's worth, which is that last thing on the list there. And I know we've got them set up to hopefully open a little bit quicker. So a quarter's worth is the new newsletter that we started, and I say we because it wasn't just a Chris thing. It was several folks around the country that decided that it might be beneficial for there to be a newsletter kind of focused on lectures programming, whether that's ideas for programs, tips, links to use to go to get great ideas on the website, but all sorts of things that lecturers use. And so when you click on those links, and the 4 links that we saw down there for the 4 quarters of 2020, and we'll keep adding them for 2021, but each of those is a PDF document that you can grab and you can read it, you can print it, you can save it and email it to different friends. But it's not just for lectures, it's really for any member. And this document has gotten a lot of great comments, and I think we're going to continue it for sure in 2021. And really, it's open for anybody to provide information. So if you're out there and you know of a great website for clip art, or for great quotes, or for ideas that you've used for programming, or anything that you can think of that a lecturer might find useful, send it in an email to me or text it to me, and we'll work on getting it into the newsletter called A Quarter's Worth. And again, that was new in 2020. We were able to get all 4 quarters out. And again, we're going to proceed in 2021 with that document.
And you are coming out, as you mentioned, quarterly. It's the 15th of the month, every 3 months. And I believe the next one's February 15th, which means you're getting content by, the end of January.
Right, by the 1st of February, yep.
Right. And so 3 months after that, which would be March, April, May 1st, you would look for the next content. So just in the event that somebody's looking to provide you stuff, those are the dates, correct?
Yes. And then the other thing I wanted to say is this document starts with me, and I email it to every state lecturer in the country. And the plan is that every state lecturer, and state lecturers, I'm going to throw you under the bus here. Every state lecturer's job is to get it out to their lecturers in their state. So the Pomona and the subordinate, the community lecturers, should be getting this document by email from their state lecturer. And this document also goes to all the state presidents. But if that isn't happening, it's here on the website. So we wanted to make sure that it was available to everybody to get. But hopefully that connectivity between the state lecturers and their local lecturers is happening, and they're getting that document and other updates as well, directly from the state. All right.
So where are we headed next?
We are going to head toward, I want to chat a little bit, and it's not on the website, so we'll just leave that up for a second. We're going to talk a little bit about the Lectures Advisory Board. And the Lectures Advisory Board is pretty exciting for me. It's a group of folks that I brought together to help the national lecturer plan and to be a sounding board, to be the voice of reason sometimes when we may have some crackpot idea that we want to throw out there, and sometimes it's nice to see if it sticks before we let all of you see it. And this group of folks said I'd be delighted, and it's a group that represents all regions of the country, and it represents a lot of years of experience and expertise in some different areas. And I want to give a shout out to them. I'm not sure how many of them may be on tonight, but these folks are there, and we've had Zoom meetings, and I email them directly once in a while with some things. And again, I'm just couldn't be more happy with the ability to reach out and have folks out there to give me the honest opinion and the honest truth on a lot of this stuff, and just to make sure that, you know, what I think might work here in Spokane is also something that, you know, Elliot thinks is going to work for the young folks around the country or in New York. So it's kind of fun to have that group. So representing the arts and entertainment area is Phil Veneta from Pennsylvania. And if you were on the Evening of Excellence, you know that Phil is a great one to represent arts and entertainment, right? For the literary area, I have Vonnie Merritt out of Oklahoma. And Vonnie helped us with some newsletters and I did at least one book review in a newsletter that was great. And maybe we can look forward to some more of those to help us see what's out there in that literary world. Our handicraft person on the advisory board is Bonnie Midsten from Idaho. And of course, Bonnie is the one that makes all the magic with the quilt blocks and makes those quilt blocks become heirlooms for families to treasure for a lifetime. The home skills area is Gwendolyn Swenson from Minnesota. And I met Gwen at their state convention in 2019. And she and I have shared a couple of recipes, and there was no doubt that she is a canner extraordinaire. And if you want to try something new and amazing, get a hold of me for Gwen's refrigerator pickle recipe, because I'm telling you, they are drop dead awesome. In the self-improvement area is Mary Jordan from Massachusetts. And of course, Mary Jordan and I go back longer than any of this group, back into the 80s when Mary and I were tearing it up as youth and traveling around the country, and a dear friend and someone that is always there on the other end of the phone to say, how can I help? So Mary Jordan from Massachusetts. And then our final member is Elliot Wilser from New York, and he's representing the youth for me. And I had the great opportunity to meet Elliot last year at National Convention in Minnesota. He had been named the National Youth Lecturer, and we had the opportunity at a gathering to get to know our counterparts from the youth group. And Elliot and I hit it off, and I welcome and respect his input, and I'm so glad that he said yes as well to join the group. So those six are my advisory board, and so far nobody's asked to bail on me, so I appreciate that, and look forward to what they are going to help me with in 2021 as we look forward. So that takes care of the advisory board. Amanda, I think next is we're going to go to the quilt block contest. And that's on that website. And just some stats. I want to know, how come every time Facebook pauses, it pauses when your mouth's open and your eyes are closed? Is that like some sort of a internal something that it has going on? That cracks me up. So the quilt block contest last year in 2019, just for a basis, we had 436 blocks submitted. This year we had a total of just a couple of hundred less than that. We were right around 260 blocks, 265 blocks. And since then, some more have come in, so we're a little bit more than that right now. And I'm not sure if this is a response to 2020, if this is a response that maybe the quilt block contest is running out of steam. So if you're out there and you're listening tonight, send us some comments about the quilt block contest if you're a participant, or if you used to be and you're no longer, but any feedback on these is greatly appreciated. We had 242 in the adult category, 11 in group 2, which are our juniors 5 to 13, and 12 in group 3, which are the men, which we know, sometimes don't fall into an adult and have their own category, just to try to get more guys to try it, to give it a whirl. And we had 12 in that group this year. So the results, and Amanda, if you go down to the bottom, we'll come back to the 2021 portion of stuff. So as you can see there, you see the adult division, and then the junior division and the men's division. And when you click on that, it brings up a photo of those winning blocks that I took after the judging was done. So in the adult division, if you click on that, and you can make it a little bit bigger.
First going slow, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, you're fine. Hey, there's 9 inches of snow and counting, right, in Pennsylvania. So who knows how the internet's working. So first place is Patricia Hall. Patricia is a non-Grange member from the state of Maine. So thank you to somebody out there, got her interested and got her the information, and we got a beautiful block from Patricia in Maine. Second place is Kathy Stark from New York, from Stanford Grange number 808. And Kathy is a regular, a great participant in contests and in programs, and congratulations to Kathy as well. And then the third place, we're kind of keeping it all back there in that upper corner. Evidently with lots of snow, these folks need to quilt lots of quilts, but is Alice Hartman from Pennsylvania in Kimberton Grange number 1304. So congratulations to Alice for third place. So those are the top 3 as selected by the judges out of 242 that were entered in group 1. So the group 2 folks, which are the juniors, and again, I think that this is a great project for folks to work with the young folks, work with the juniors, help them with the instructions, dig into those fabric stashes that I know you folks have out there, and share them with some kids, and let's get some more entries in 2021 with that pinwheel, which I'll show you a little bit later. So the first place is Max Swenson out of Minnesota, Sunbeam Grange number 2. And I know there's a real proud grandma out there, Gwen. which is an example of an adult making sure that the kids are learning the skills and entering the contest. So congratulations, Max, on a beautiful quilt block from Minnesota. Second place is Jersey Jetty out of Montana. And Jersey is no stranger to the winning column in the quilt block area. She's been there a couple of times in the past, and definitely a young lady that knows her way around the sewing machine and does some beautiful work. So congratulations to Jersey on second place. And then third place out of Colorado this year is Ariana Watts out of Sunflower Grange number 162. And you can see that Ariana used her own block pattern and changed it up from the one that was given, which was shoe ply, but we also had choice as an option. And so here's a young lady that chose the choice option and went with her own block there. And then in the men's category, come on guys, you're making it hard for me to live with this one. Brother Dwayne has been at the blue ribbon there the last 2 years in a row, and I know his mother Martha is smiling down with the thought that, my gosh, he was paying attention when I taught him how to use that old machine. So Dwayne Hamp from 5 Mile Prairie Grange in Spokane is first place, and second place is Roger Bostwick from Pleasant View Grange, number 1459 in Kansas. And Roger has entered the last couple of years as well and has done very well. So again, look at those points all matching up there. Congratulations to Roger. And that's one where I get blocks from 3 generations of that family. So that's kind of fun. And then the third place block is Scott Midsten from Belgrove Grange, number 229 in Idaho. And Scott's trying to convince me that that's his own pattern rather than tipping those bottom 2 the wrong direction when he sewed that quilt block together. So I got you, Scott. It's your own pattern, and that's why we had the choice option out there this year. So congratulations to all 9 of those folks. I should say too that every single entry, so the 260 some entrants, every single one received a thank you letter for entering in the mail, along with a ribbon, and they received the documents for next year's contest. So in my mind, that's just a great way to get that information out and get those folks to have a heads up on what the next year is going to be. And I think while we're here, Amanda, rather than jumping back and forth, why don't we just talk about 2021 in the quilt block world? So as folks can see, that is the pinwheel block that we have chosen for 2021. And I want to give a shout out to Karen Jackson, dear friend of mine here in Washington State, and a fabulous quilter who quilted those first 2 blocks for me and testing the instructions and making sure it would work. And we ended up putting those blocks to work as part of our advertisement for 2021. So as you can see there, same deadline. You're always going to have October 31st with me as lecture for the deadline. I don't like moving deadlines around, so that's the deadline. This year's block is bigger. It's going to be a 14-incher by the time you send me what you get done, as long as you follow those instructions correctly. So the 2 documents there to grab and to print or to download are the instructions, which you're seeing right now, and then the just the entry form that needs to accompany the blocks. So that pretty much tells you about the 2021, same 3 groups. Anybody can join and not join, but anybody can participate in this contest. So those of you that are in quilting clubs or groups, take those documents to your group and share them with the folks that may not be Grange members currently. Great way to get folks involved. And as you can see, the first place in group 1 this year was a non-member. So are there any questions coming in, Amanda? Is there somebody out there that's paying attention?
We have some folks who are paying attention, but no questions yet that I've seen. I'm going to double check before we go on to the next thing. I'll remind you, if you have any questions, let us know. They did ask about color scheme.
Yeah, so the quilt block, any color, except for the fact that the white, if you go back, Amanda, to the diagram part.
Yes. 1 second.
I think it's fabric A. Fabric A needs to be white. So fabric A says, oops, you're bouncing around on me.
Sorry. Fabric A says must be, let's see. I saw it somewhere. All
right
plain white, not white-ish. The plain white is what will tie the blocks together.
Plain white. So yeah, not whitish, not cream, not micro dot with black or anything else, but plain white. And then those pinwheels, those 2 different pinwheel colors, you can make anything you want. I will say that we have something in the works with the Quilts of Valor Foundation, that if we get in blocks that are patriotic in their color schemes, we will be marrying those up for Quilts of Valor. So just something to keep in mind, that if you do choose that sort of a color scheme, they'll end up in a Quilt of Valor and not in the usual quilted items that we're making. So anyway, and I will back up the quilt blocks from 2020, those shoe flies. We are trying some other items this year. Not so many large quilts, but some smaller items, some smaller size quilts, some table runners, maybe a couple of bed scarves, or you see them at the foot of beds. So we're trying some bags, quilted bags. So we're trying some different things, maybe to hit people's price points a little bit better, and then also, there's going to be some competition coming up. So there's going to be some table runners where the 3 blocks in this table runner are all from New York, and in this table runner they're all from Connecticut, and in this table runner they're all from Oregon and Illinois, and there's a bunch of them that are going to be a state's table runner, and we're going to see which state can bring in the most money for their table runner and give some love to those blocks. So anyway, stay tuned for that. That'll be coming out in the next several months, and we'll work on selling some table runners and seeing what kind of pride the states have in ponying up some dollars for those.
I'll say that Deanna Nordquist from Ohio just mentioned that she thinks that a lot of folks, probably because they weren't meeting, didn't get this information out, or just kind of fell through the cracks, and asked if most people used the pattern that was given, or if they provided those choice blocks. So figured I would let you answer those two parts of that.
Yeah, it's interesting. You get, it's kind of, I don't know if it's a squeaky wheel thing, but there's always folks that catch me at convention or send me emails and say, give people a choice. I don't necessarily like your pattern, and if I don't like it, I'm not going to participate. So rather than losing those folks, give folks a choice and have that choice block. And I said, hey, sounds like a great idea to me. And so we did that, and there was probably out of 260 some blocks that we're up to right now, there might have been 24 that were another pattern. So a few, but not a lot. And some of those, I think, were ones that just got tipped the wrong way and didn't match the shoe fly pattern that maybe intended to start out that way anyway. So yeah, there were some, but not a lot. But that's the kind of feedback. We'll try anything once, maybe twice.
I noticed that, Emily Culver from Illinois just said, she hopes you keep it going because COVID did us in this year, but, it's a good contest. And I have to tell you that I'm looking forward to seeing Emily's blocks because she's such a fantastic, quilter and stuff. So I hope that all of these folks here are spreading this message. It doesn't take you meeting in your Grange hall or having a Grange meeting to share this information. And it certainly doesn't, mean that you have to only share it with Grangers. So I know that you're competitive, Chris, and I know we've talked about lots of things, and I'm sitting here brainstorming, how do we do like a percentage of your Grange that entered the contest competition, or Grange that gets the largest number of entries, because of course they don't have to be Grange members. So my 12-member Grange might, get 40 people from my community to make these blocks. I don't know, but I'm feeling a competition here.
Well, I'll give a shout out right now. The hands down winner for quilt blocks, and I know Emily's behind it, and she and I text many times a year, and I'm sending her Quilts of Valor labels often as well. So I know those folks stay busy, but Illinois kicked everybody else's hind tails all over the place. I mean, hands down, Illinois' blocks were a huge number comparatively to other states. And in fact, Emily just sent me another dozen that I received within the last week or so, well after the contest. That wasn't the intent. The intent was to help bring the numbers up so we could make more items and get those items out to folks. So again, thank you, Emily, and to those Illinois quilters. You did a fabulous job. So yeah, this is the sort of input I'm liking, is stuff that from folks out there that are living it and doing it, and how do we make it better? How do we get the information out? And that's why I poor Stephanie, I rode her hard to get that website up, and Amanda as well, to help me with different documents, so that tonight we could show you all these things and make sure that you knew where they were, how to get to them, that they're downloadable, that they're shareable. And really all you have to do is, tell somebody, just go to the National Grange website, click here, click there, and it's, the information's there. I mean, it would be easy to tell a non-member or a member that isn't listening tonight how to get to those documents and to share them. All right, I think next up, Amanda, is publicity, the publicity item contest.
Right.
So this is, this is one of those contests where I keep thinking that sooner or later, this thing, this little, right now, it's just a little ground fire. It's just little grass and some pine needles and stuff that's just kind of going along and chunking along, and it's really not doing anything. And one of these days, there's going to be some wind that grabs this thing and blows it up into a real conflagration. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a conflagration of publicity items, and every single Grange in the country should have some items that they can contribute to this contest. And as much as I'm competitive and I want to enter to win, the goal of this contest is to promote ideas and different things that the Granges have done where all of us win. And that's the biggest win, is when every single Grange in the country can win by seeing what other Granges do. And so even if you're thinking, you know, this isn't going to win me first place, it may win you a fan in another state that says, man, that's fairly easy. That looks like something that my membership can get their arms around and can accomplish. And it gives a Grange that's just kind of getting their feet back under them or getting started, you know, that first step in order to take the next one and the next one. And so don't think that you've got to have the Taj Mahal before you can enter this contest. And you'll see that with the winners, what the judging did, and you'll see that with the winners. So when you click on Publicity Item Contest, you're going to get the rules, which are also down below in the one rules and guidelines document that you can click. If you go back up to the top, Amanda, real quick, this little 2021 Publicity Item Contest, can they grab that? If not, we'll make it where you can grab it. That's created to be a, and I think we need to add one more document, which we'll do. We made a PNG document, which is something that you can easily put into your newsletters or into your social media. So if a Grange out there wants to promote it within their state, they can grab that, and it's a little bit more fun to look at than the whole list of rules, to be able to go and get the rules.
We can put that up on the chat in a little bit. I just can't switch between the stuff that you.
Yeah. And then the other button down there is to, right now, if since the contest for 2020 is over, if a Grange has done something for December, so my Grange could enter the flyer that we made for our drive-through pancake or drive-through cookies with Santa event. There is no need to wait till October 31st to enter. This is live, and you simply just click. When you click in there, you can fill in the answers. You go to your computer, you drag your file, and boom, it's done in 3 seconds. You don't have to use a stamp. You don't have to find an envelope. You don't have to put it on a thumb drive. You don't have to do anything but enter it. And there, Amanda happens to have mine, and she just grabbed that file, and that's the Pancakes with Santa entry. I keep saying pancakes. After 10 years, that's in my brain. It was cookies with Santa this year. No pancakes.
Yeah, that was a fun event. Lots of people. So.
Yes, we had over 1,000 people for our drive-through event. So I would love to do, maybe we'll do another one of these in a couple of months about drive-through events or something. But I think that's going to be the wave of the future here a little bit, is a little bit more things like that. But so that right there is an entry. You put something like that together, you put your name, your Grange, contact information, you upload the document, and boom, you just made an entry. So please don't wait till the last minute. It makes it much more difficult to get everything ready to go. So let's talk about some winners from 2020. At the bottom of that page, when you click on Publicity Item, you're going to see these two titles. And I'm pointing like you can see me, but 2020 Publicity Item Contest winners in the professional division, and then right down below it, the in-house division. And then you're going to see first, second, third, and fourth place. And if you just click on the little dot, that winning item comes up. So I will tell you that at the moment, the only ones that we can put on here because of space limitations with the website are the 4 winners, or the 4 placers in each division. And so I'm working on a way to get the rest of them ready to go in like a Google Doc account or in something, Amanda, where we can share those with anybody that wants to see all the entries, because that was, I just got done saying that was my intent, was to make sure to have Granges be able to see all the entries and to see if something out there makes sense for them. So, so in the professional division, which means that they had some help, they didn't do it all with their own folks. First place goes to Virginville Grange, number 1832 in Pennsylvania. And they put together this book to commemorate their 100th year of existence and being a Grange. And it's about 90, I want to say 92 pages, if I remember right. And it is just this beautiful collection of memories of Virginville Grange. And so they won first place. And so I want you to think about, as I'm saying these, the different types of items that were used to publicize these Granges. So second place goes to 5 Mile Prairie Grange in Washington. And they put together this, with some help, this scholarship announcement for 2 scholarships that they gave out in May of this last year. And, we put that went on the Facebook page and out into other media outlets to congratulate these 2 young people who won those scholarships. Third place is Sierra Valley Grange, number 466 in California. And
I think we have something different.
I did it wrong. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong list. I'm sorry. Third place is the North Carolina State Grange for their website. And so this is one where you'll have to click on it and go check out the North Carolina State Grange website. But the judges thought that their website was outstanding, and I would echo that. And for all of you out there working on websites for your states, that's a great one to take a look at and get some great ideas for. And then fourth place goes to Marble Valley Grange, number 567 in Vermont. And this is one that they got a little bit of help with, but it was an advertisement that they put in a playbook for a play that was done in their community. And they had 3 members of their Grange participate in that play, and they wanted to congratulate them. So this was an entry from Marble Valley. And I tell you what, Marble Valley had some wonderful entries, and it looks like they are a Grange on the move. So I'm excited for that community and for Marble Valley Grange. And then the in-house division, is the North Carolina State Grange. And this, for first place this year, it's their Farm of the Year publicity kit. And they recognize a farm family every year, and they put together this amazing publicity kit to help spread the word and spread some love for this family and their selection as their farm family of the year in North Carolina. So congratulations to the North Carolina State Grange. Second place is High Desert Grange, number 22 in Nevada. And it's for a trifold brochure that they put together to help get the word out in their community about High Desert Grange. So this is exciting because, of course, High Desert Grange in Nevada We don't yet have a state Grange in Nevada. We're getting close, and this Grange is another one that's, you talk about active. I mean, look at those activities there on the left, a huge big list. Some great photos, some great information about all their information about how to get a hold of them, what the Grange is in their community, and that it's open to folks. And anyway, so the judges thought that this trifold was a great example of a way to promote Grange in a community. So congratulations again to High Desert number 22 in Nevada. And it's great to see Nevada. It's great to hear Nevada talked about again. Third place is Sierra Valley Grange, number 466 in California. And they did this online jigsaw puzzle, which I did the other night. And it's kind of addictive. You start moving those things around, and when you know you got it right, it makes a clicking sound. And there's a timer that starts, so you can see Amanda's already 12 seconds into it there.
It clicked.
My time's no longer showing up on the top ones down there. But my only suggestion on this in doing it was I wanted a picture of the finished product to look at as I was dragging pieces. That would have definitely helped. But as far as putting things together, I mean, this was a lot of fun the other night. So that was third place. And then fourth place, again, is Marble Valley Grange, number 567 in Vermont. And this was for their honk and wave signs. And in their own description, they said, you know, these signs aren't much. And it's like, well, okay, it's in the eye of the beholder. So they took some signs, they covered them with their own lingo, and they stood out there nicely socially distanced, and they thanked folks that are on the front lines in a bunch of different areas in their community. And so again, it's not how much money you spend, it's how you connect. How are you promoting your Grange in your community? And what a great way. It was some instant feedback, right? I mean, who doesn't like standing out there and getting honked at all day long? So again, congratulations to Marble Valley Grange. And again, I just think it's a great collection of really different types of things that Granges are dreaming up to do, to make sure that folks know that they're still there, and then they're busy, and that they're doing things, and they're active in their communities. We get any comments on publicity items stuff?
Right. So we just have a couple folks who are excited that their stuff was included. And we actually have a few additional just notes for the publicity item contest that I just wanted to kind of reiterate from a text that was sent. Yes, shirts are publicity items. Yes, your sign, things that you put up on your sign outside of your Grange hall can be publicity items. Obviously, if it's promoting your Grange. So yes, publicity items sounds like it's a pretty broad category. And Chris, has there been anything submitted that, you know, you've said that doesn't really match? Is there anything you can think of that people would be thinking of maybe out there that wouldn't be a publicity item?
No, I mean, it really is anything. I mean, yeah, it can be signage. It can be something you wear. It can be, you know, you've got a Grange shirt on right now, Amanda. I see. I
do. I love my Grange shirt.
I know. I love those. I should have had my worthy on too. But you can wear it, whether it's a pin, whether it's an apron. I think last year we had some aprons entered. And in that case, just take a photo of your folks wearing the item, because obviously you're not going to upload the apron itself. So yeah, just take a photo of it. It can be, recycled. Whatever you put your logo on, and you are working to promote Grange, it is wide open. And that's the whole idea, is to not constrain, but to let people brainstorm and come up with everything they can to promote your Grange. And it's as a local Grange member, it's shame on us, right, if we don't do what works for our community. I mean, you may know what works in yours, and you may say, well, in our community, it's got to be a trifold. Okay, then you do a trifold as best as you can do a trifold. And another Grange, maybe, our folks don't read. Our folks want to see it, and so they want to have something on a sign that they're just going to go by and see in the few seconds it takes to go by. And so you got to make it work for the event or for your Grange and your community. And that's the fun part, is seeing all these entries. And that brings me back. We ended up with 88 items this year total, which was down from about 120 something from last year. We had 79 in the in-house and 9 in the professional category. And that just means that somebody outside of your Grange helped you. Not like a non-member, but somebody that is professional in that craft. So you had somebody, the print the document. I mean, like the aprons being silk screened would be a professional item, unless you have a member that does that themselves. Does that kind of make sense?
Or if they design, like your members designed it, just having it out of house probably is, that they might not silk screen it, but they have done the design, for example, I think is also part of that. I know we've talked about when we're judging them too. So.
Right. Yeah. So it's, it's more, the judging is more about the concept rather than the finished product. It's the judges are looking at how well that resonates or with them. Obviously they're the ones judging, but in their concept of how that would have impacted the community and been a bonus for the Grange. So,
and there's been so many things I've seen recently on Facebook that some of these Granges are putting out there. I noticed a couple people had floats or drive-by Christmas parade things. So get creative in what you're thinking about to enter this contest, because I get excited to see what Chris gets in for these. So
absolutely. If I did the entries myself, just from what Brother Pete forwards back out through his Facebook site, would have doubled the contest entries, right? I mean, he puts something out almost once a day, at least one. And so, yeah, all of those things that are being put on Facebook are promoting your Grange and your events. So send that in. As you can see, the link was super easy to navigate and to attach the document, and boom, you're entered. So I think that does it for publicity. Only that's the biggest prize money that I give away. So it's $200 for first place. So it's worth your while to take 3 minutes and zap something over that you guys have been working on for your Grange.
And I noticed, Chris, that there's some Granges that reached out to me to help them with some things recently that didn't enter your contest. And so I think I just should mention, because I see a few of those folks here with us, that if I'm helping you do publicity for your Grange event, I think a requirement's going to have to be that you have to enter. Not because I want the money, but because, hopefully it helps your Grange. So, and it helps you get some examples out for other people. So.
That's exactly it. I mean, that in a nutshell, that's what this contest is sharing examples. And, we can't all gather up and do that in one place. And so by entering things and submitting them, and if you say in the comment section, I don't want this judged, if for some reason, you don't like to be judged on stuff, then just say, don't judge it. We're just entering it for an example. I mean, that's the same thing with the quilt blocks. There's a lot of quilt blocks that come in that ask not to be judged. They just want to participate. So, help everybody out and participate.
All right, I think we have one more section of the website. Am I right that we're going to?
We're going to go next to the virtual photo contest.
All right, we're up and running.
Yeah, so the 2020 virtual photo contest was the first year for this contest. And it came about kind of mid-year when we determined that National Grange Convention was not going to be open to everybody. And at that time, we thought we were still going to meet with the officers and delegates, but a lot of the states were scaling way back, and which would make the photography showcase, which is what it used to be called, kind of null and void, because there wouldn't be any state contest in order to forward a best of show to national. And then at national, there'd be nobody there to look at them. So we went with this virtual photo contest, and same kind of thought process was anybody can enter. And so rather than just having the 30, right around 30 entries in the showcase, which were each of the state Grange's best of shows, we ended up with over 250 entries in a contest that really, didn't get a full year worth of marketing, and, is brand new to people knowing about it. And the other part of that is that anybody can enter, member or non-member, and you can enter up to 3 times. So you could enter up to 3 different photos. And those photos, this last year, were going to be there was just going to be one division, wide open division, come one, come all. And then about 2, 3, 4 days into it, my judges called me and said, we can't do it. I said, what do you mean you can't do it? They said, we can't have one contest or one category. There's too many amazing entries. And so we ended up making 3 categories for 2020. And those were people, animals, and scenery. And so we ended up with the first, second, and third in each of those. And Amanda has gone off the reservation here.
Sorry, I'm pulling up your photo entry contest form because it wasn't working here.
Yeah, so let's go down and see the winners first, then we'll come back to 2021 stuff. So we made, like I said, we made the 3 divisions, and in the animal division, first place goes to Ashley Moan of Marion Grange, number 1853, out of Pennsylvania. And Ashley's taken a picture of some beautiful cows there on the mountainside. Second place is June Playfair out of Lemhi Community Grange, number 404 in Idaho. And she has this photo of these 2 horses. And then third place, we go back across the country to New Jersey, and Abigail Evans from Elmer Grange, number 29, with this beautiful entry of this bird or duck or loon. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe it's a loon of some sort from the backside there. coming up out of the water. So those are the three, first, second, and third in the animal category. And then in the people division, first place is Alice Coakley out of Oakview Grange, number 311 in the state of Washington, with this absolutely adorable little gardener and her beets. And second place is Shelley Fayowitz from Virginville Grange, number 1832 in Pennsylvania, with this little puddle stomper. And third place is Maria Woji from Moravian Grange, number 187 in New Jersey, with these two adorable kids. So that is the people division. And I'll say that when you enter, we were a little selfish in the fact that these photographs become the property of the National Grange, and you may end up seeing these in marketing and some other things that we do. And I see that Amanda's nodding that, there's definitely some stuff that we can put to work. And when we use our own photos, we don't have to spend money getting them from other sources sometimes. So keep that in mind. That's what we're looking to do as well with these contests, is have photos that we can use and share and spread the love for the talents of our members. In the scenery category, first place is Catherine Bishop out of Home Grange, number 129 in Michigan, with this great macro shot of this little slug on a mushroom. And second place is Bud Snyder from Valley Grange, number 1360 in Pennsylvania. A beautiful sunset.
Yay, my Grange.
And what I wouldn't give to be right where that picture was taken right about now. That is absolutely beautiful. And then third place is Roger Bostwick from Pleasant View Grange, number 1459 in Kansas. So congratulations to Roger. He's has earned some cash prizes in a couple of different contests this year. So of this, looks like some snow and a fence post in the Great Kansas Blizzard of 2019 or 2020, whenever that was taken. So yeah, those are the winners. And again, like the publicity items, we're working on a way to share all of these photos, and hopefully we can set up a link. And I've got I think that Amanda can help me find a way to send a link out where people can go and look at all the entries, and we'll do that just as soon as we can. And maybe the February quarter's worth is a good place to be able to highlight that's occurred, and that'll give us a target anyway to shoot for, to let folks know where they can find those items to take a look at them.
And one mention is these do become the property of the National Grange, like Chris said, which means we can use them for our magazine or on our social media or what have you. And they are available for you to look at. But if you are going to use them for any of your own personal or Grange material, they're not supposed to be used for personal or commercial use. And if they're going to be used for your Grange use, you do need to reach out to me to get permission, because they're property of National Grange, but that doesn't automatically mean that they are available as a Creative Commons license for general use. So just to respect the right of the folks who took these, if you're going to use them or asked to use them on anything of your Granges, please reach out to me.
Yeah, very good. And then for 2021, you can see there that top box, go up a little bit. If you click on the black box right underneath that says the contest flyer, now the virtual contest flyer, that is that same thing. And that's what you can grab. And I'm saying you being folks in states where you're doing a newsletter or your newspaper or an email out to membership, you can grab that document and attach it. And then that's giving the folks the link to go to get all of the, really that's bringing them back here to get all the information and then also to submit their photos. So, and then the other thing that we changed up, so like I said at the very beginning, we're always about making some changes, is there's going to be 3 divisions again, but the divisions have changed. So one of the divisions is the selfie division. So you need to practice your selfie skills or learn, ask your grandkid what the heck is a selfie. Do something to enter some great selfies. Another division is going to be a close-up or a macro division. So you can practice your close-up skills. And then the 3rd division is simply barns. Barns are probably my most favorite thing out there in rural America, and so we're making barns one of the divisions this year. So those are the 3 divisions. So if it's a picture of cows on a hill this year, it's not going to meet one of those 3 divisions. So what you're going to want to look for when you enter is you'll have the opportunity to click on which division you're entering and then upload that photo. So pay attention to that piece. So right there you go. Perfect. Thank you, Amanda.
No problem.
Yeah. So is there any feedback on anybody have any feedback on those divisions?
Well, and I think that we might be a few seconds behind, so we will give them a few seconds to catch up. We do have some other questions, comments, and we're kind of closing out soon. So I just remind you, if you have any questions or comments for the national lecture, now's the time to put them up there. The portfolio of contests, we have a few folks who are really interested in seeing those from all of the different categories. So it looks like you have some interest there, and looks like there's a lot of folks who are excited with these contests that are viewing this. And then we do have some folks who are asking for use of some photos, so we'll have to give them my email to do that. Can even a parade float be acceptable? And I believe that's Katie Squire asking for the publicity item contest. And so I'll just go backtrack for a second with you on publicity item contest.
Yeah, so if I was going to enter my parade float, and some of my best junior Grange memories are our junior is putting together a parade float for our annual parade for our fair days, is just take a picture of it. Take a picture of the finished float, take a picture of it as it's traveling the parade route, make sure it shows the Grange name and whatever else. I saw another one in the state of Kansas, a Grange parade float that said something about Grange can make your heart grow 3 sizes or something to that, based on the Scrooge or Grinch, the Grinch movie. So yeah, take a picture of that and send it in, and that's a great entry. It's given folks, another idea of things that they can do. Especially, I think you're going to see more moving things like the drive-throughs or the parades to get folks interacting and stuff going on. All right, so let's take. I want to just quickly do a quick shout out for the Evening of Excellence, and thank you to the 9 states that did provide an entry in the 2020 Evening of Excellence, and to those 9 performers who who stepped out of their comfort box maybe and performed live via Zoom onto our Facebook and our YouTube channel, and did a whole different evening of excellence. Rather than having that backstage fun and that in live event, we did it virtually, and amazing collection of entertainment and performers and talent. And just real quick, I do want to name those 9 folks. And again, the states, and it takes the state to certify them and get their name to me and to be a part of that evening. And I thought it was just a fabulous, fabulous night. And hopefully everybody that was watching thought the same thing. If we couldn't do it in person, I thought what we did worked out pretty darn well.
We have just shared that link. For people to see. I said we just shared that link on Facebook for people to see if they haven't seen it.
Oh, okay, great, perfect. Yeah, and all of those things you can go back and catch those later on too if that night didn't work for you. Wendy DeWitt from California, Callista Gressick from Idaho, Ethan Edwards from Illinois, Emma Edelin from Iowa, Susan Barrows from Massachusetts, Adam Terrell from New Hampshire, Irene Richardson from New York, Harry Traxler from Ohio, and Philip Veneta from Pennsylvania. So again, thanks to those folks. It was a great collection of entertainers and talent and a broad spectrum of different things that they brought to the show that night. And I thank each and every one of them for coming on, and also want to give a big shout out to Stephanie Wilkins, who came on at the last minute and performed the Star Spangled Banner for us, which for me is the way to always start a significant event. So, it's a significant event in Chris's mind if we start with the Star Spangled Banner, and thanks to Stephanie for singing for me for us that night, and for doing a fabulous job. So the next thing before we run out of time is I do want to talk about one program that you don't see on the website yet. I think what we'll do is we'll get it all ready, and we'll highlight it in the February newsletter, a quarter's worth, and then we'll let folks know at that time that it's up on the website. And that is a new program. It's not a contest, it's a program for 2021. And for those of you that know me well, you know that civic responsibility and the fact that in Chris's mind, nobody does builds better citizens than the Grange, and the Grange is responsible for citizens and strong communities, for decades and decades and decades, of course. So to follow along in that vein, I've created a program called the Community Flagpole Relocation Initiative. I know it's a mouthful. I played around a little bit with an acronym and couldn't come up with something that at least was able to say in mixed company. So we stayed with it all spelled out. But the idea is, and I can picture several of them in Spokane right now, and I think that you can probably do the same, is there's flagpoles in our community that are standing outside buildings that are no longer doing what that building initially was built to do. For example, it's a fire station that the population shifted and it no longer made sense to have a fire station there. And so the fire station moved to be more central to the population in order to get the trucks to you back quicker, right? I mean, that's what fire stations do. They keep moving. And that's based on where the population is at. And so outside of an old fire station, there is a flagpole standing there forlorn and devastated that it's no longer able to carry a flag and to be a part of community pride. And I'm thinking of a library that the community outgrew it, and the library moved to a new beautiful building, and the old library building is now used for another purpose, but it's not a purpose where they use the flagpole. I guess they could, but they don't. So the idea is that we find these flagpoles, we reach out to those property owners, we don't take them in the middle of the night, and we find a new place to put it. Maybe the city square or the local park does not have a flagpole. Maybe the Grange Hall does not have a flagpole. Maybe, find out in your community. This is something where it's got to be community driven, but you relocate that flagpole to a place where, again, a flag can fly and folks can look at that with pride for their community. And so that's the idea. The hope is that Granges will kind of serve as the spearhead, the leaders of the undertaking, but reach out and utilize all sorts of folks. Utilize local contractors to help you take down and move the flagpole, right? That's not going to fit in your 8-foot utility trailer. So figure out some ways to utilize folks with some in-kind donations. And then also reach out to other organizations. Reach out to the VFW to help you with the commemoration or when you put the new one into service. Reach out to the local scouts. Maybe there's a scout that needs an Eagle Scout project that could help coordinate some of those efforts within the community. 100 different ways to do it. But what I would like to see is a before picture of the flagpole standing with nothing going on, and then maybe some during pictures of some activity, and of course a picture of the flagpole relocated and proudly flying the red, white, and blue. So think about that, and as you know, in the next few minutes, if you're thinking that might be something in your community, send us a message and let me know that that's something that you can do. And then think of it, when you engage other organizations and you collaborate, those are some pretty awesome words: engagement, collaboration. And when you do that, you're showing folks, who we are and what we do and why we're here and how awesome Grange is. And pretty soon you're going to be able to have that conversation about them joining you as well. So that's going to be new for 2021, is that flagpole, community flagpole relocation initiative. And again, don't do it in the dark in the middle of the night. The other things before we sign off is the Quilts of Valor Foundation. Unfortunately, we had to take a little bit of a pause this year, and we, with National not happening in person, we weren't able to do our usual Wednesday night Quilts of Valor presentation. But I have every confidence that we're going to be able to do that this next November in Wichita, Kansas. And I know that the folks in that region and around that area are already working to identify folks that are eligible to receive a Quilt of Valor. And of course, hoping to make sure that we have at least one World War II veteran present with us that Wednesday night in November next year to receive a Quilt of Valor. There's nothing like those World War II vets to make sure there's not a dry eye in the house with that Quilt of Valor presentation. So again, that program is still going. Like I mentioned earlier, we're working with that group to look at some quilt blocks that are coming in, that might come in with that color scheme that we like for the Quilts of Valor. And then the other thing is they reached out to us, and they're going to highlight our quilt block contest in one of their upcoming newsletters. So that'll go out through their national publication. And so it'll be interesting to see if we get some more entries and we kind of start cross-pollinating between their group and our group.
Hey, Chris, I should stop you for 1 second and just tell you that we do have 2 other questions on the quilt block stuff. So since we're back there, the quilt block instructions, will that include the 1/4 inch seam allowance, or is that already included in the measurements?
If you, I love these questions for a non-quilter. If you follow the instructions, don't worry about what I'm going to do with it, or somebody else is going to do with it. It's not me. What you send to me should measure 14 inches square. So I guess when you do the math, when that gets put into a quilt, those blocks are going to be 13 and a half, right? Because you take a 1/4 off each side. But what you send to me should be 14 inches. And if I understand correctly, and when you follow those instructions, you're going to end up with 14 inches.
Yeah. The other question was, is there a choice block this year, or do we have to do the pinwheel?
You have to do the pinwheel. Yeah. You know, we didn't say choice. I think you got to do the pinwheel. Yeah.
Although I'm sure people can just submit blocks and not get judged if they're, for example, a year behind or something like that.
We will always take blocks. You know, Bonnie is amazing. I was over at her house the other day, and she's already has blocks laying all over the place and 110 ideas going on how to do this and that and what to do. And if you send us quilt blocks, they'll become something amazing. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, please do. Please do. You know, if there's a group of you that want to send 14-inch blocks and you're not quilters, but you can do, you know, you can handle a block. I mean, that would be my category, is I can handle a block now and then, but there's no way I'm going to quilt them together. And you want to send me a bunch of 14-inch blocks that aren't pinwheels, that are, you know, the patriotic type themes, we'll get somebody to put them together into a Quilt of Valor. I mean, that's there's probably lots of folks around the country waving their hand going, yeah, I can do that. Send them to me. I'll be happy to put them together. So yeah, hey, I am never going to say a flat out no. We'll figure out how to make a yes out of it some way, shape, or form.
I'm looking to see if there are any last minute questions. I don't see any. So we'll take just a second to see if anyone else wants to type something in here. But I'm excited to get 2021 underway here in 15 days. It's crazy. 2020 feels like it's been the longest and shortest year at the exact same time. I don't understand. So, you know, I know that it's about 10 and a half months away before your contest deadline. But as you mentioned, you can send blocks, you can upload photos, you can put publicity contest items up now if you have them. So I hope that everybody will kind of take that post-holiday lull that we all end up having and put themselves to work on some of this stuff, because you have some great contests and programs. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the relocation, flagpole relocation. So it's just going to be a good year. I have a good feeling about 2021.
It is. It is what you make it. You can use 1,000 excuses for reasons to not do stuff. And as we all know, the busiest people are the ones that get the most done, right? So when there's a will, there's a way. And I know that there's lots and lots of people out there that have amazing wills, and I know that we're gonna do awesome things in 2021 as we did in 2020, and that's the fun part is there's always a lot of excitement and a lot of enthusiasm, and every single envelope that I get or contest entry that comes, whether it's electronically or in my mailbox, you know that there's folks out there doing stuff, and that's the cool part is they're getting the information out, and they're participating, and they're wanting to be a part of something bigger than just them sitting on their couch in their house. And this is how you do it. This is how you become a part of something bigger. And we've talked about that with quilt blocks, that one little quilt block becomes part of the quilt that all of a sudden gets gifted to grandma, and it's a family heirloom for the rest of that family's legacy, right? I mean, it's forever. The same thing with these photos and with these publicity items is your one entry all of a sudden becomes the kernel or the nexus for somebody's idea that grows something else. And so they're all part of something bigger, and it's all a part of making Grange more viable and stronger in our communities. And that's why we're all here. Nobody joins to be part of something that's not doing great stuff, right? I mean, otherwise, why would you join? So that's the thing is keep pushing, keep submitting things, and keep asking your friends and neighbors to do the same, and we're gonna make some awesome things happen.
Yeah, so important if you've had people, visit with your Grange or work with your Grange this past year. They're probably looking for some place like us and trying to connect with their communities. So invite them to be part of these contests, even if they haven't yet paid their dues, and become members, because this is just one more gateway. So thank you for helping us create those contests that create another gateway, Chris. I appreciate that. So I don't see any other questions. I'm going to just double check one more time, and I'm also going to double check.
And I have one more thing that I skipped over. I want to just give 1 minute to, if I can do that. Are we all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The mercantile. The mercantile, of course, did not get an opportunity to happen at National Convention because National Convention didn't happen. So instead, we did an online version of that. Amanda, in September, October timeframe, somewhere in there, where there were, I believe, 20 items that were selected and put online in an auction format where you could, it was kind of cool. You could click on things and make them your favorites and then track them, and you could set your limit. So let's say I wasn't going to go over $100 on this item, but right now the bid was at 20. I could, put 25, and then I could put in the 100, and then I didn't have to keep going in. It would just keep, if somebody kept bidding, it would keep going until I hit my 100, and it would let me know by email when all of that happened. So it was really a neat program, and I thought it worked really, really well. The unfortunate part was that we only had, I want to say, 20 some different people that bid on things. And so that just tells me that we didn't do a good enough job marketing. And so I wanted to share that we're going to do the mercantile again sometime late spring, maybe early summer. And we're going to just make sure that we get the information out there. And so just keep your eyes open for that mercantile, and we're also going to change it up a little bit, and we'll highlight what purpose that the funds are going to go to, what program, so how that's going to work. So it's going to be a little bit different, and that's also where we're going to do this contest and this competition among the states. So pay attention for some of those quilted items that came from the quilt blocks. We'll use that platform to see who wants to have the bragging rights from their state. So anyway, that was just a little heads up on the mercantile for 2021.
I'm excited. I donated a quilt that sold well, and I also had a friend who never joined our Grange in Maryland that I was trying to get her to join, but she spent a good bit of money on some stuff in the mercantile, and so it was really nice to see money outside of Grange pockets come into the Grange Foundation. So I encourage you to share, when we do have that again, the information with your friends who are not Grange members, because sometimes they're looking for gifts and heirloom things and handmade items to give as well. So
absolutely. And that's the thing too, if you if there's some different types of things that you would like to see available through the auction, through that mercantile, let us know. Send me an email, send me a text, send me a Facebook message, send something somehow. And if there's if you want to see jewelry, or you want to see more, I don't know, whatever it is that you think you've got friends that would definitely get on and take a look. If we only had fill in the blank, let us know what that is, and we'll do our best to make sure we get some of that in there.
Well, I think that we've hit 10 o'clock Eastern. If you're at most of the Northeast, you probably have 10 inches of snow outside right now. We covered a ton tonight, Chris, and I'm really excited to get this year rolling. So thank you. I know we'll be back here again. We're going to start up doing some more Cultivating Connections in the new year. And so hopefully we'll be hearing from Chris and some other folks again soon. If you have suggestions for what you'd like to hear on one of these Cultivating Connections, please let us know, because we will be excited to have you. And I have some breaking news. We were contacted today by the FCC chairman Ajit Pai from his office, and we will be co-sponsoring, co-hosting one of his final outgoing addresses that he'll be giving specifically about the digital divide. We've nailed down a day of January 12th. There'll be a lot of press about it and a lot of information about that, but it will be on our Cultivating Connections. So we're really excited to have him again before he leaves his post as chairman of the FCC. And so we'll definitely get you information about that. And then around that time, we'll also be starting up, maybe not daily, but fairly regular Cultivating Connections again. So it's been great to have you all back with us. We'll see you tomorrow. Loretta Washington, our sales programs, membership recognition and benefits director, as well as Pete Pomper, our national community service director, will be on here telling you who's won some awards from this year and giving you some information about next year as well. And we're super excited to have them. And that is at 8 o'clock Eastern back here. So share our Facebook page with your friends, share our YouTube page with your friends. We're on both. And we're really looking forward to seeing you. So thanks again, Chris, so much.
All right, thanks everybody. And yeah, for everybody in the Northeast up there, stay warm, stay out of the snow.
We'll try. Have a great night, everybody, and stay safe. And we'll see you soon. And until we meet again, if you don't see us again tomorrow, happy holidays for our Jewish friends. Happy Hanukkah. I know we are about closing out that season. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, all of the things. And if you're not related to a religious group, but you have a spiritual connection, just enjoy the snow angels. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.